Yes, welcome to another crypt tutorial. I'm Alec Briggs and I'm going to show you everything not to do. This was my first crit of the year and I was so rusty and made so many mistakes, particularly in the early part of the race. But I did do some things right and I'm going to talk you through those too, including how to help your teammate get in the break and how to help them stay there by countering for them, riding defensively and not disrupting the race and riding too negatively for the other riders. Now, the first thing I've done, I've started right at the back. In crits, that's usually a no-no. For a bit of context, this is a National B crit with elite riders, first cap riders and second cap riders. So it's a pretty good standard. So starting at the back is probably going to hurt me. Also, in a race like this, there's quite a variety of abilities. In national circuit races and tour series and national champs, you can kind of trust that the riders in the race are going to be of a high level. But by racing in a slightly lower tier race or a local race, often the variety of skill sets is a little bit greater, meaning gaps form quicker and riders can't hold the wheel, making gaps in the race for you to shut down, which wastes your energy and reduces the energy you have to try and win the race. Now, the reason starting at the back is so bad and being at the back is so bad is down to something I like to call elastic effect. Now, when you're in the front of the race, you don't really notice this because the front rider is taking the line they want to take, they're accelerating when they want to accelerate, and they're braking when they want to brake. Now, the rider behind them is dictated by the rider in front, and they have to react to the rider in front, which causes a little bit of a delay. So a little bit of a delay of when they get on the pedals, which means they have to accelerate a tiny little bit harder to get onto the wheel in front. But when you multiply this by all of the riders down the bunch, you get something which I call elastic effect, and that elastic starts to stretch so much that you're putting in so much more effort than the rider at the very front of the race just to stay on the wheel, because every rider is having to delay and hesitate a little bit longer, making them do a little bit more effort to get on the wheel in front. So a big thing, try and get in the first 5 or 10 wheels. You're going to thank yourself. It might seem hard at the start of the race, but trust me, it's so beneficial. The earlier you can get there, the better. If you were watching on screen, you would have seen gaps everywhere. I've had to shut some gaps down. Look at that. There's a massive gap, almost like 50 meters to the grouped bunch in front of me. I'll have to go around my teammate because he's looking a little bit gassed, almost as gassed as I am. And as we come around this turn, you can see massive splits in the bunch already. So I'm having to whack 600-700 watts just to get on a wheel in front of me, past a few stragglers, and then I'm going to have to whack it past this guy just to try and make the main bunch, because these riders are already dropped and it's only lap 2. This is why you need to try and start near the front if you can. One thing I would say is that if you find yourself in a position like this, try and stay calm, don't panic, and try and ride to your strengths. As you can see, I'm okay at cornering, and I've pretty much reduced a 20-meter gap in one section of the course through a chicane. Now, granted, I wasn't the best at some of these corners in this race. I was on a brand new bike, a loaner actually, so it's not even my bike set up for me, with new tyres, ones I don't love, but it was all a bit of a learning curve. And yeah, I suffered for it. As you can see, there's even more riders giving me the stare, flicking the elbow and making me chase down gaps. But once again, I was able to use that part of the course to ride myself back onto the group without wasting too much energy. I'm looking ahead of me now, and there's less riders losing the wheel, but there are still some big gaps that I've got to worry about. So I've got to stay on it, be ready to go around any rider, catch back up. But what I would say is, don't worry too much if the first 10 to 15 minutes of the race are absolutely mental. Just hang on and stick in there, because I guarantee between 10 and 15 minutes it will slow down a little bit, especially in lower level races. As you can see in front of me now, the groups come back together and it's just slowed down a bit, which gives me a chance to recover. But it's still in the early part of the race. I'd say wait until 15 minutes until it really slows down, but during that sort of 10 to 15 minutes it will start to slow down a little bit, but attacks will still go. Now, I'm still at the back of the bunch. There's a massive gap in front of me that I've got to shut, and that's because I'm so gassed from just trying to get back onto this bunch. I wasn't able to move up as soon as I got there. but the time on the bottom of the screen says we've been racing for about 15 minutes now. We've done a couple laps, and as you can see, rolling up to the group. Now I'm looking at my watts here, and I'm doing about 100-200 watts less than I have been on this straight every lap so far, but I'm so gassed and putting so much effort to do so, I'm just going to stay calm and assume that all the riders in front of me are probably okay to last the rest of the race if they survive that first 15-minute window. I'm letting the wheel go on some of the pedalling sections, so I'm not putting as much effort, and then making the ground back up in the corners where I know I'm stronger, which doesn't cost me any energy. Though I would say I absolutely sucked around that corner we've just gone round. It took me a good half of the race to work that one out. You'll see a point later when my teammate Benji goes in front of me, and I'm almost dropped, and that's without even pedaling. I never ever thought I'd say I almost got dropped in a technical section. Right, on the nose, 15 minutes, it is really slowed down now. So I see it as my opportunity to move up and try and at least get near my teammate so I can help him, because I think Benji has got some really good pre-season form and could possibly win this one. So I've done my best just to slide up the bunch a little bit. I can see maybe about 15 to 20 riders in front of me. That's nowhere near as bad as it was when I was about 40 riders back. I'm going to try and stay with Benji here. We're going to just get an example of how good he is and relaxed he is as he goes around the outside of a rider mid-turn, gets the hand out, just pushes him out of the way to let him know he's there, and yeah, he's just cruising. And this might be the time where I show you how much better he was around this corner than me. Look at that, he's accelerated away. He's got 5 bike lengths, and all of a sudden I've got a gap to chase. Now I thought they might come back to me around that very last corner of the race, but they didn't. So I'm whacking 700 watts just to try and get back on my own teammate's wheel. So cornering practice, vital. If you haven't done a crit before, or you're not too confident with your cornering, I recommend just going to a car park, your local cycling track, laying out some cones, and just practicing some corners. You can start slow and always build up your speed and your confidence and your skills with it. It doesn't take very long, trust me. Right, so let's talk about some of the things I'm going to try and do right in this race. Now, I've managed to survive the first 15 minutes, so what I want to try and do now is recover a little bit whilst the race has settled down a bit. Yeah, it might not have slowed down too much, but what the pace has done has evened out a little bit. It's a bit more consistent, and with the riders in front of me being a little bit better and myself moving up, so I'm not experiencing that dramatic elastic effect, I can ride at my own pace a little bit more and use my effort a bit more efficiently, which will save me energy in the long run, a few percent here and there, which could make the difference in win or losing this race. Now, I sensed there was a little bit of a lull coming, and I've clearly rolled off the pedals, and I'm just letting the riders in front fan out where they need to. And now I've noticed this point we're about 20 minutes in. Between 20 and 40 minutes of the race in an hour-long race, which most crits are, is often a very prime time for a break to go away. So try and stay up the field. Here's something I've done very wrong. Now, I spent all that energy moving back up the field, and I've gone to the very back again. And I've even let 2 riders go in front of me that actually lost the wheel there. If you remember this dude in front, he flicked his elbow, gave us the look, and made us chase down a massive gap. And now he's sprinting erratically like it's the end of the race in front of us. So we've got to be careful not to let riders that are likely to lose the wheel again in front of us, giving us more work to do. So if you do find yourself passing riders that are perhaps losing the wheel early on in the race, try not to let them pass. Like, just give them a little stare, maybe like just block off their line a little bit. Don't be too aggressive, but just try and keep them behind you. Because evident here, this dude here, he's a good rider, more of a mountain biker, but he's let the wheel go, and now I'm having to whack 800 watts just to get back on the wheel because the race has got a little bit hard up the front. And as we said, because we're at the back, we get that elastic effect. There's a delay for us realising that the racing's getting hard, and we're having to whack all the effort in, wasting energy just to make it back to the bunch. Now I'm hoping we're going to learn from that, and now we've got back up, we're going to try and pass some people. It appears that we've got past one rider as we cut the footage there. Let's see if I'm going around this turn any better now. I am, you can see I almost had to let off the gas and get on the brakes to avoid this dude.
You alright, boy?
But I've decided those two let the wheel go earlier. I'm just going to go straight past them. I haven't got time for this. I can't risk them making me lose the wheel. So if you sense someone isn't too good and too hot, try and get round them and just get round them as quickly as possible so you can get on the wheels in front. Now, as it all fans out here, I see, maybe there's a little gap. I can maybe go for an attack, but that gap was shut down. You can see Benji behind me. The race is really slowing down now, as we're 24 minutes in apparently. And now I'm going to learn from my mistakes and move up the bunch. I think we're probably about mid-pack now, which is not a terrible place to be. Still doing 600 watts, so it's not super slow. But what I am going to try and do now is hold my position. And as I said earlier, during this period of the race, it's very likely that attacks will go, try to go, and it could be possible that one stays away. So looking in front of me, about 10 riders. We know that I put in a lot of effort early on in the race to just try and get back to the race. I'll be honest, I'm hurting at this point. I'm a little bit worried for my fitness, my race fitness anyway. I know I've got a good base, and it can take a few weeks and a few races for that race form to come. I know a lot of the boys I'm racing with here have done a lot of road racing and probably got some form. But one thing I'm doing right, I've seen the opportunity to move up, and I'm going to do so. I've whacked it up the side, I've made the effort there, so yes, I've put some effort in, but what I have done is I've got to the front of the race where it's a lot easier to ride, and now I can recover and hopefully I'll reap the rewards later and be able to attack. You might have noticed just now, someone tried to come inside of me on the corner. Someone tries to do that, just shut the door. If you've got the racing line and you're not being too aggressive and it's safe to do so, just hold your position, be assertive. Don't be afraid to be assertive with other riders. It's important that you do that because you don't want to get bullied and taken advantage of. Now it's good that I'm at the front of the race now because, as I said, attacks could be flying everywhere. I can react a lot quicker to every attack. You can see there's a few riders getting up the road. I'm just sitting on the wheels, watching the other riders bring it back and react to that, and I'm just trying to slot on the wheels where I can, staying efficient, smooth, and not trying to waste too much energy. And what I'm hoping to do here is wait for all the attacks to go, try and watch every rider, close them down, see who's strong, and eventually I might decide, once everyone's had a pop and they're feeling a bit tired, I might try and go myself. So usually in a race, unless you're feeling absolutely amazing, I'd recommend letting other riders attack first, follow the wheels and just try and react to other people's attacks. Once everyone's had their attack and tired out, they might be a bit reluctant to try and go again themselves, or they might be tired from doing their own attack, and that's a very, very good opportunity for you to spring your attacks, because when everyone else is tired and fatigued and a little bit disheartened, they might think, no one's getting away today, I've tried a couple times, I put a lot of effort in and I couldn't go. Well, you might be the straw that breaks the camel's back. So yeah, be patient. That's a key aspect here. Don't get too cocky, don't get too excited, just try and save your beans, As you can see here, as we fast forward through the footage, we are just following another attack, sitting in fifth wheel. This is the best place to be right now. We're watching everyone tire out. As you can see, Kai just made a super effort, kicking out very, very hard out of that turn just to get onto those four riders in front, and I was able just to smoothly, in the saddle, ride up to him. I've seen this dude go away, and I think, you know what? This could be a move. He's put in the initial hard work for me, and I'm going to try and jump across to that wheel that's going ahead. And there's even 3 riders ahead of us there. So you might not be able to see on camera sometimes some of the moves going. I'm sure I noticed that in the race. But often in crits, they're very tight and technical, and you can sometimes miss when a rider attacks. So that's even more important to be towards the front end of the race, just so you can keep an eye on what's going on. Now, we're in a group of 5. I'm pretty sure right then I was just shouting, yep, we've got a gap, let's go, let's go, let's go. I even considered going up around the side of them to help drive the brake because I felt there was an opportunity there. But I thought better of it, because by the time I got there and wasted all the energy getting to the front, the brake wouldn't actually be going any quicker. So use your efforts wisely. Now, here's an important point. We've just been brought back by the bunch, but that doesn't mean that the riders in the break in front of us are done. just because we've been caught. The rider behind you who's made all the effort just to get on your wheel, he might be on the very limit trying just to get back to your wheel. So if riders in front kick again, don't be surprised if that again is the straw that breaks the camel's back and you end up with a little gap. I think we have got a little gap now, I'm not entirely sure, but either way the race pace is hard and we're in a good place right now. We're sitting second wheel, we can keep an eye on everything that's going on. Kai's going through it now. I'm going to see if I'm not sure if that's his teammate or not. I was a bit baffled there, but I realised he wasn't able to follow. You could see that he was clearly gassed. Just as we were saying, it's very possible in these moments. And I thought, right, maybe I'll jump with these two and we might get away now. So very vital point of the race. Try and be as consistent, as efficient as you can, getting on the wheels and just watching any break that might go. Now, a bit of a jump in the footage there. Unfortunately, where the two files merged, we lost a little bit of time, but I actually attacked then thinking, right, now's the moment to go. You can see people getting tired. That rider failed to respond to the two riders going in front of them, so I had to shut it down, and I thought now's the time to go. I've made a little jump, and this wheelbase dude who's extremely strong has followed me. As you can see, looking through the leg, we've got a little gap. Now if we drive this on, we might get away, but I would be surprised if they let me get away, but they might all be too gassed to bring us back. But as we come round into the first turn, someone's bridging across, and I think, you know what, now's not the time. Let's see if Benji comes to the front of the race, because I've been at the front of the race for a while. Benji had a little attack earlier, but he got brought back. But this could be the perfect time for Benji to attack, or someone else to counter. You've got 1, 2, 3, and Benji is the fourth rider who comes through. As you can see, as Benji comes through, I just move over to the racing line and block other riders coming through. We have let 2 more riders come through and a third one who's quite impatient to get through there. But I don't want to block the riders, disrupting anyone's race. I just want to make it a little more difficult for them to get around me to chase Benji. So now Benji's attacked, what I can do is I can relax a little bit more, not do any chasing, and I can just slot onto the wheels as smooth as I can. I won't drop too far back because I want to keep an eye on who's doing what. And also Benji might get brought back and I want to be available to jump on the counter move. But I think we've got about 6 riders here in front of us. It's clearly going very hard. You can see everyone rocking and swaying. The heart rates are high right now. People are on the limit, and I'm just doing my best to save as much energy in the wheels as possible. But I wonder if we'll get a little look here. I think we've got 6 riders in front, and then maybe the 3 or 4 riders, including Benji, who are away right now. You can see a little gap forming. There's a couple riders splitting in between us to get across. So I'm just going to let these 4 riders in front of me, now 5, just do their thing and waste their energy trying to shut that down, and I'll see what they do. But I'm just going to be patient, hold my nerve, and just be very vigilant on what's going on. As we look over to the left, can't see Benji and his breakaway mates there. There's another 2 in between this group or the main bunch which I'm in, which I'm sitting about 7th, 8th in. So yeah, again, just following, just watching, staying patient. Benji's up the road, he's really drilling it, he's really fit right now, and I said to him, I think you can win today, and I hope he does, because it would be absolutely brilliant. Really good for his confidence. He's only young, he's 18, up and coming rider, and these are the sort of races he needs to be learning to win. He's very capable of doing it. But as we look ahead, massive gap, the bunch has lost the morale, they've slowed down. I think, right, now's the time to move up. And what I'm going to do now is I am going up to try and get near the front so I can disrupt any chasing. I'm not going to slam on the brakes and slow the race down, but what I'll ride too negatively. What I am going to do is disrupt the flow and the cohesion of the bunch. So you can see there, I was trying to force Kai to go back in to the wheel in front of me because I know he's gassed, and use up his energy to stop him being able to bring back the brake later. We've got 2 riders in front. I've just coasted onto those riders' wheels, and what I'm going to do now is, you see the brake's almost a hole straight ahead. I'm going to do my best to jump onto any move that goes, and by doing that I'm just going to be sitting on the wheel. Now, I'm not helping those riders bring the brake back by sitting second wheel, but what I am doing is I'm stopping the rider behind me coming through really quickly to build up momentum and work cohesively with other riders in the bunch. So I'm sure, as you're going to see in a minute, this rider's going to flick his elbow, he flicks his elbow, and I go, well, I've got a teammate in the brake, so I don't have to go through, but I am going to roll through gently. I'm not going to slam the brakes on and just sit behind him. I'm going to give the impression that I'm going to come through and help, and then just park it. I've even flicked my elbow. People aren't coming through, so it's working perfectly. I haven't tried to block the race here. I even flicked my elbow to say I don't want to do any work, and still people aren't coming round. I'm just ruining the morale of other riders. And as again, someone goes, I jump onto second wheel, so when he flicks his elbow, I'm ready to just roll through, knock off the pedals a little bit, and just try and discourage the rider from behind me sitting in third wheel to come through and take a turn. And by breaking up that momentum and disrupting it, they're really going to struggle to bring the brake back. I said to this dude, tell you what, you're looking really strong. If you go to the back, I'll try and jump across with you later. But then I see these two go. Kai Davies, super strong. He's had some good results early on in the season. I think I can't let them go, even though I'm gassed. I'm really digging in deep here, trying to get aero to get on the back of these two riders. And again, I will do the same. If they flick me through to do a turn, I'm not going to pull through. I'm just going to sit there, shrug my shoulders, and go, got a rider in the brake, mate. Can't help you, sorry. And you're totally okay to do that, you know. It's kind of the racing norm. They can't get too mad. And that's one of the positives of sending a breakaway rider up the road from your own team, because it makes you not have to work. And if that breakaway does get brought back, you've been able to sit in the bunch, not doing any work, saving yourself for perhaps going on a late attack or maybe trying to win the bunch sprint. So have that in mind. It's good to work in teams, have a little discussion beforehand what you might like to do. Me and Benji said, yeah, we'll throw a few attacks and counter each other. We're both fit enough to respond to each other's counter attacks and just get back in the bunch. And that's what we're doing right here. As we roll through a few laps, as you can see, we're 46 minutes into this race now. It is crunch time. Benji's up the road with 15 minutes to go. It's about an hour's race. One rider from the break in front of us, clearly struggling to hang on to Kai's relentless pace. So I've had to go and jump across myself as I come past the back marker on the right there. I'm going to get onto Kai's wheel, and I bet you he looks round, flicks his shoulder, realises, it's me. Alex got a teammate in the break. He's not going anywhere. And there you go, little flick of the elbow, looks behind, see it's me, and goes, crap, he's not going to help me, is he? So I just sit there, I don't even say anything, I don't even acknowledge or mention to Kai that I've got a rider in the break, because the more he gets wound up and frustrated that I'm not coming through is actually a good thing for me. So I'm just going to sit here. One thing I would say about Kai is he is a very strong rider. He's very punchy. I've ridden with him quite a lot. I know how good he is. But watch this when we come out of this turn. Yeah, out of the saddle, kicking 800, 900 watts. He's a very jumpy, I wouldn't say unsmooth rider. He just rides to his own rhythm, and he kicks hard out of every turn. And being on this wheel really, really hurts. But I'm going to stay here. He flicks the elbow again, praying that I might help him out, but I'm not going to. I'm saying, Kai, if you want to bring this brake back, it's all down to you, man. So I'm just going to sit here. And what's great about that is, one, I hope Kai doesn't bring us across, because I want Benji to have a chance at winning. And two, if he does, I've got a free ride and I've just managed to sit on the wheel, saving as much energy as possible. I couldn't really be in a better position right now. So although I may have sucked at the start of the race with bad positioning and bad form, making the race very hard for myself, during the latter part where it really mattered, luckily I had the fitness and ability to ride myself back into the race. But in the latter half, I've done everything right. I've sat in sort of top 5 to 10 positions, and I followed moves, made attacks myself, made the race hard, and that's allowed Benji to get away. And whilst he has been away, I've been sitting in second wheel, following every move that goes, so I'm still in the race if an opportunity arises. And as we go through the race, continuing to knock it out, 800 watts out of this turn every single time. This is a false flat drag, and it really hurts. And there was a bit of a crosswind coming from the right hand side, I believe. And again, kicking out this turn like a madman, 900 watts. I can't tell you how old this gets. We've only got 4 laps to go though, and I'll be honest, I'm pretty confident that Kai isn't bringing this brake back. But whilst I sit on the wheels, I'm really, really hurting now. I can't tell you how much I'm hurting. And I'm sitting there going, I'm praying he doesn't bring that brake back, because I don't even know if I'm going to be able to sprint at the rate Kai is going. It's an exceptional ride from him. Can't really see the riders there. I think we've got a bit of a gap. It's about to come into 3 laps to go. And I bet, once again, he monsters it out of this one. Oh no, you can see the brake. Oh damn. Right, again, he kicks 900 watts out of that turn. I'm chewing the bars and stem, trying to hang on to his wheel. And I'm sitting there thinking, oh no, am I going to have to sprint? But this is what's good here. I haven't done any work, just sat on his wheel. And what I do know, or I do hope at least, is that even if we do come across this break, Kai, who's often very good at the finish of a race, got a good sprint, decent kick on him, he should be gassed and he should be tired. Now, on a normal day, I'd say Kai probably has a better kick than Benji. I know I have a better kick than Kai, and I'd like to think I have a better kick than Benji. But at the same time, after Kai doing all this work, hopefully he's reduced his ability to kick at the end and win the sprint. We've got 2 laps to go. We're getting really close to that 3 ahead. There's a back marker in between us, but still that gap is coming down super quick. I think next time round it's going to be 1 to go if I've got my timings and laps right. Let's see, have a little look here. Yeah, that's got to be 1 to go. We're coming so close to this bunch now. Again, Kai absolutely nailing it. I've got a feeling in my stomach where I'm just like, I'm absolutely empty. No gas, no legs. I'm sitting there thinking, oh man, what am I going to do? Am I going to try and lead Benji out? Am I going to just try and go for it myself? I'm hoping that I get there almost with enough time now to ask Benji how he's feeling. But as we come in to the last corner, making it 1 lap to go, as Kai kicks again with all of his strength and might, and the shadow of me holds onto the wheel. I'm just going to do my best to hold on. I'm sitting there thinking, I'm probably going to have to sprint here, aren't I? This is annoying. I see the 3 riders ahead. They're starting to slow down, look at each other. They know we're coming across. But yeah, I'm just trying to recover as much as I can. Kai again kicks out of the saddle and it hurts me. As we got 1 rider kicking off, Benji sitting 3rd wheel. He's in a prime position. But I am worried about that rider there. I am on the absolute limit now, I promise you. And Kai starts to accelerate. I've got nothing left, and I just shout, Benji, you gotta go, man. I haven't got it in me. Benji kicks. He holds his position, moves the riders out to the side, and he starts chasing the leader of the race. And I'm hoping now that Kai has spent so much energy, and I've not given him a single turn, that he's depleted his energy stores, and Benji can hold him off as he gets in the wheel of the leader. He comes up to the side of him now. He gets to the right of him, and I think he's just overtaken him. Now, as we roll up, we're going to look into the gap and see if we can see Benji's. We parked it because I've got absolutely 0 legs left. I see Benji through the gap in the houses, and as you can see here, the young 18-year-old holds it off, finessing the race perfectly with a kick. Brilliant ride by Benji. Now, as for me, I just roll in absolutely gassed, no effort left. And I'm just pleased that I could shout at Benji, telling him when to go. I was no real help of him in the race in the end, but I was able to help by not giving Kai a turn and making it very hard for him to bring the brake back. And what an amazing ride by Benji. I'm stoked for him. So if you learned something today, please do like and subscribe to this. It really helps out with the algorithm, and I will be trying to grow this channel, trying to do a weekly upload, 1 race a week, maybe even 2 sometimes. But yeah, there it is. You can see we're talking about the race. I'm saying how strong Kai was. I'm very pleased for Benji. Man, it's like proud older brother moment. I've been seeing this kid just rise and come on every year, and he's really putting in the work. It's absolutely awesome. He's beating a wicked rider there by Joe. He's an excellent rider himself. And yeah, I hope you learned something today. Start at the front, get to that front of that race. Try not to waste too much energy. Work on your skills, and yeah, be in it to win it. Take care. Peace.